On the 15th of December 2022, Real Madrid announced that they reached an agreement to bring in yet another Brazilian wonderkid, following the likes of Vini Jr, Rodrygo and Ranier in agreeing a deal with Palmeiras to sign then 16-year-old Endrick in 2024 when he would be 18 years old for a transfer fee worth 35 million euros plus another 25 million euros in add-ons and bonuses. At the time and even now, it certainly seemed like quite a lot to pay for someone so young and so inexperienced, but based off of recent times, this is the kind of fee you have to pay for a wonderkid from Brazil. And tons of Madrid fans were extremely excited about Endrick, and there was a point where even Barcelona fans were, admittedly for a lack of a better word, scared of what Endrick could do and bring to Real Madrid out of fear that he would be the next Brazilian great, based off of some performances for Brazil's youth team and Palmeiras, with people likening him to the likes of Pele and Ronaldo. The hype around Endrick was higher than ever, but after the Copa America that just passed in the summer, where Brazil found themselves being knocked out at the quarterfinal stage to Uruguay after a poor group stage performance, Endrick was mocked by the whole footballing world for his performances at the Copa America, seeing him play 4 games including the full 90 minutes against Uruguay, but failing to get a goal involvement in the competition. Now, I've seen some people say that Endrick will be a flop, and the only reason there was hype around him was simply because of a good couple of performances that he had in Brazil for Palmeiras. So in today's video, I just want to explore just how good is Endrick. Is he overrated or just simply overhated? Well, that's what we're talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Back of the Net here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Endrick was born on the 21st of July 2006 in the Federal District in Brazil. Endrick's father pursued a career as a professional football player, playing for several small teams in Brasilia. Endrick's mother was homeless and unemployed at the time, forcing Endrick and his 3 siblings to stay at an orphanage in Sao Paulo for 6 months until his father returned. Endrick's father eventually received employment at Palmeiras as a janitor. Endrick started playing football at the age of 4 years old, seeing his father post Endrick playing football to YouTube, which actually attracted interest from several big clubs in Brazil. At 8 years old, Endrick saw himself training at a Real Madrid camp in Brazil. After almost signing for Sao Paulo, Endrick at 11 years old joined the Palmeiras youth team, and Endrick would then go on to score 165 goals in 169 games during his time in the youth setup. Endrick then scored 8 goals in 7 games in a tournament for the academy, and this attracted the interest of a lot of major clubs in Europe. Endrick would then make his professional debut at the age of 16 years, 2 months and 16 days old, making him the youngest ever player to appear for Palmeiras' senior team. Later that same month, Endrick scored 2 goals in a 3-1 win over Atlético Paranense, making him the second youngest goal scorer in Brazilian Serie A history. Endrick and Palmeiras would then go on to win the league in his first season, seeing Endrick finish his first professional season, having played just 7 games for the first team, but bagging 3 goals and 1 assist at the age of 16 years old. The following season being his final and last full season with the club, Endrick would have some rough patches, but still managed to play 53 games for Palmeiras, scoring 14 goals and getting just 1 assist. Quite honestly, not groundbreaking numbers whatsoever, but being that he was just 17 years old, it's still fairly impressive numbers. And now Endrick has joined Real Madrid, with many people saying that Endrick is actually nothing special, especially after the poor Copa America performance he just had with Brazil. Now, Endrick is able to play across the front line, even as a number 10 or a shadow striker. Endrick's versatility at such a young age is also a very intriguing aspect to him as a prospect. Endrick is more than capable as a finisher for his age, being able to score from just about anywhere, whether it be in the 6-yard box, the 18-yard box, or like with his goals against America and Internacional, Endrick can also score from way outside the penalty area from long distance. Endrick is actually more than just a good finisher though. Endrick has some decent passing, and despite what his assist numbers may suggest, Endrick is also surprisingly good at playmaking and opening up the game with some good vision and some good passing. He produced almost 10% of the team's expected threat last season at the age of 17 years old. Endrick is also a surprisingly good dribbler, although not absolutely amazing there just yet. He is still a very good dribbler. He seems to love to take on players one-on-one when he gets the chance, which makes me think that Endrick could be developed as maybe a right winger under Carlo Ancelotti, with the fact that Endrick has a good burst of pace, is a decent dribbler, has a good cross accuracy, is a decent playmaker, and is 5'7", which is very small for a striker, and is left-footed, which makes me think Carlo might develop him into a right winger. Personally, I would like to see Endrick be developed as either a right winger or potentially as a 10 in the future. He can certainly play as a striker, but his lack of height and his failure to win aerial duels makes me slightly hesitant to see him become an out-and-out number 9 in his future. Now, there are obviously downsides to his game, especially because he's so young. Endrick is not great in the air. He can lose the ball by overplaying at times. His ball recovery, while not bad, it's far from ideal, and sometimes he can just get bullied by bigger, stronger centre-backs. But obviously, for me, his positives outweigh his cons. I mean, he's a really high-level goal scorer, a good dribbler, good burst of pace, and one thing that is very overlooked is at his young age, he is still very good at performing when the team needs him and showing up in big games. Now, despite all the hate and his very bad Copa America showing, I think Endrick has an extremely bright future ahead. I think in a club like Real Madrid, yes, the pressure is always enormous, but with guys like Vini and Rodrygo having both succeeded, going through the same pathway that Endrick will go through, he will have guys to look up to and learn from. Plus, having the likes of Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Vini Jr, Rodrygo, that will put far less pressure on Endrick to immediately perform and immediately start scoring goals for Madrid. Like how when Vini joined Real Madrid, he joined a Ronaldo-less Real Madrid where the pressure was now on Vini Jr to perform with Benzema and Gareth Bale. Endrick will also be getting coached by one of, if not the best managers of all time in Carlo Ancelotti, someone who has proven to be very good with youngsters and someone who allows young players to develop on their own time and become their own player without a strict structure system. Also, training every day against the likes of Thibaut Courtois, Antonio Rudiger, Dani Carvajal. That will only improve Endrick's game in the long run. He hasn't nearly got as much pressure as would normally happen for an 18-year-old joining a club of the size he has with the amount that the club had to pay for it. Obviously, Endrick could still struggle. He could become a bust like Renier, but I think Endrick is in a great environment to thrive, and his personality of what we have seen shows that he is very grounded and very dedicated. With him looking up to the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, you assume that Endrick is also an extremely hard worker in the practice area, on the pitch, and if he can keep his head down, he has a bright future ahead of him. I know he has a lot of hate, but most of the hate is coming from people that aren't Real Madrid fans, and right now Real Madrid is a very hateable club. I mean, having the likes of Jude Bellingham, Vini Jr, Mbappe, plus now adding Endrick, they are a hateable club because they're just so good on paper. And again, despite the hate, I think Endrick could very easily become a star for Madrid in the next handful of years.